What's up, you guys? Stoopzz back again with another video, and I have some pretty cool news here. An update on the PvP rating ranking system in Battle for Azeroth. As you can see at the bottom of the screen here, we have 51 days and 21 hours till the release of Battle for Azeroth. Now, as many of you do know, I have been covering these PvP changes. I feel like a lot of players are not talking about this. You're not hearing it from a lot of high-rated players, but I think this is some of the most important changes that have come to PvP in a long time, and I have covered this in a couple of videos in the past. I've talked about the reward system, the ranking system, but we have seen some updates, some concrete evidence. We have some actual images now, and you can see them on the beta here, and I will show some beta footage somewhere on the screen, but we now are moving away from the blue post but to now official releases and official announcements and in-game changes. So I will go over the new tier system, the new ranking system, how you receive your rewards, which again I have covered in a couple previous videos, but again they weren't really clear. Some of it didn't make sense. The ranking system didn't quite make sense, and now it's becoming much more clear, and I'll go over all of that for you guys in this video today. But we'll start from the top of this article and we will go through it together. Now, the new tiers and rating bands. For years, participants in World of Warcraft PvP have received ELO-based ratings based on their performance, but that number didn't really mean much. It wasn't clear what that number actually meant. You didn't get any rewards by the end of, until the end of the season. You didn't know where you placed, and there wasn't much progression behind it. It didn't feel like the rating that you were getting, if you moved up 50 points, what did that really mean? It just means that you hit a new high. So it didn't feel satisfying unless you hit like, 2K, 22, 24, and you got something for that, right? You might have got your enchant or your elite set, but until, 30-point climb, 40-point climb didn't really mean much. And what World of Warcraft really lacks, especially in PvP right now, is progression, and they are actively trying to fix that. And of course, there's my phone. So currently we have to wait till the end of the season in Legion to be assigned and for them to review our PvP standing to receive a title like Gladiator, Rival, Duelist, whatever you're after. But in Battle for Azeroth, we want to increase the clarity and offer more structured progression, I like the sound of that, to recognize players on their accomplishment in real time. That is a very key word here, and I'll get to that in a second as they climb through the ranks. As a player reaches the following rating thresholds, they will receive or enter into a formal bracket. Now we have all of the brackets before. Again, I did a video on this in the past, but there was just like a draft. It wasn't like anything concrete. It didn't really make sense. The numbers didn't line up. But now we have combatant between 1400 and 1599. We have challenger from 1600 to 1799. We have rival at 1800 to 2099, and then duelist from 2100 to 2399, and then gladiator at 2400 plus. Now I know a lot of you are saying gladiator only 2400. I'll get to that in a moment, but the key word from this paragraph here is that in real time. So as we play and progress, we will receive or enter these brackets in real time. We do not have to wait till the end of the season. We do not have to wait till the end of the season for a lot of rewards, and that is very exciting. It was so frustrating to get to your 2K if that was what you were after, your elite set, and then you had to wait like months to receive anything from it. So there was no point really in playing early, because it was easier to push rating at the end of the season because of inflation. A lot of people know that. If you're not familiar with inflation, as more people participate, the numbers, just like as more money enters the market, the numbers begin to increase. There's more money in the market, the value of the dollar begins to increase. Same thing here. 2400 at the beginning of the season is not the same as 2400 at the end of the season. Thus, there's no reason to try and play in the beginning when it's a lot more competitive if you're only after a reward that you won't receive till months later anyways. So the specific rewards available in each of these brackets will be clearly shown in the game's interface, so real time, so players can now work their way towards earning the items they want most. And a lot of people have been asking for that. And here's the new interface. Again, I will show you somewhere on the screen, in-game beta footage of what it looks like, but you can see there is a significant change. You can see the season high ranking, where you're currently placed at, and you can see your season reward as well as your weekly reward, which we will get into in a little bit. But this is a great change, because back in the day you'd want to climb to 2K because you wanted to receive the 2K shoulders. You wanted to get to whatever 2200 to receive the elite weapon, or 1700 for a pair of gloves. And that was rewarding because it was real time. You saw what was ahead of you and you decided that it was worth it for your time to push that extra 50, 100, 200 rating. And they're kind of working this way back into the game. I honestly almost like this a little bit better. I still would like to purchase my own rewards, but I'll get into how the rewards work in Battle for Azeroth, and I am very content with this system, and I think it's a major improvement. So going into the rewards, we have skill and participation rewards. We're focusing on two things into how players can earn rewards for taking part in rated PvP. One focus is refining and clarifying how we reward skill, and the other focus is providing clarity around how we reward participation at varying levels. So participation matters this time out. The feedback we heard around Legion's PvP rewards pointed towards some players' desire for a more controllable and predictable gearing path. Even in like PvE in Legion, it was very random, right? You got a random chest. You opened a chest for your Mythic weekly. The bosses dropped random gear, and there will be random gearing, but you will also have predictable gearing. And that's something that I didn't like about Mythics either. I didn't like opening my chest, and then my chest at the end of the week was a random piece of gear. If you're unfamiliar how Mythic works, you would, do your Mythic for the week. The highest rated Mythic you did, or the highest level Mythic you did, you'd get a chest based on that, and then that could be a random piece of gear. To that end, we're bringing back the conquest points as a measure of rated PvP activity. So the more PvP you do, and I believe this entails open world PvP as well, so it's not just rated, and they're gonna expand on that in a further article in the future. We're also offering a specific piece of raid quality gear each week, adding up to a full set of increasing quality over a time of season. So throughout the season, you will be receiving a gear pathing, which we talked about earlier. So in a previous video, you might get gloves. It'll show you here, and again, I will show you somewhere on the screen the beta footage, but you can also see it right here at the top there. You'll know that this week, if I cap my conquest, I will be receiving a pair of gloves, a helmet, a shoulder, and then the next week will help you complete the set overall. I like this. Of course, there's some things I don't really like about it, but this is still much better in my opinion than what we have in Legion, and even compared to PvE in Legion. Now, it does say raid quality loot, and we talked about earlier in a previous video that 1800, they're offering heroic raid loot, and then 2K might be mythic, and then 2400 might be the highest level or tier of equipment. And I think this is very exciting for me as a player who participates in PvP, and for even a player who does PvE and wants to accelerate their gearing process. They might delve into or dive into PvP to accelerate their gearing process, which is what you want. You want players participating in both aspects. And I've heard that they're taking out stat templates. So now you might want to go get gear from PvE to increase your stats in PvP and vice versa. And this is a great thing for PvP overall. This will make it so players have better visibility into how much time and effort they'll need to be putting in to earn a specific piece of loot, and will counterbalance the random nature of rewards elsewhere in the system, because you're still going to be receiving random loot, which is just more loot overall. You'll get random loot from participating just like you did in Legion. You might do an arena, and then if you win, oh, I got a piece of loot. On top of that, you'll have a predictable gearing system that will be based on your rating, your achievements. So if you're competing in the duelist bracket, you'll receive some very solid loot, some raid tier loot. If you're competing in the gladiator bracket, then you'll get predictable loot, predictable gearing inside the gladiator bracket. You'll receive loot adequate for the time that you've spent, so they're increasing the quality of loot, and then the consistency of loot based on your rating as well. So this is a great system overall, and I think many of us should be excited. I know I keep saying that, but if you've been playing in Legion, you should be very excited about this if you love PvP. We're also changing on how players can earn the vicious saddle mount. So a lot of players will, go for their 100 win 3v3 mount that you earn. Once you get 100 3v3 wins, you then receive a token in the mail, and you can buy like a random, not random, but if you choose a PvP mount. I have all of them. I know a lot of players are working towards getting them. And in Legion, you needed 100 rated 3v3 wins in arena or 40 rated battleground matches. In Battle for Azeroth, rated play in any bracket, including 2v2, will count towards earning these mounts. And I'm sure they're going to be adding in a ton more mounts for Battle for Azeroth. And in line with their philosophy around making cosmetic rewards account-wide, your PvP efforts account-wide will count towards earning these rewards for your collection. That is very cool. Now, going into the skill portion of the article, with these updates, we want to make sure that we're providing rewards that equal someone's level of play. To this end, we're adding an end of the week reward along with the lines of the Grand Challengers booty chest, bounty chest. I always call them booty chests that you can earn from Mythic. So basically, it's going to be something similar, right? We talked about this a little bit earlier over here. And at the top, you'll be receiving loot similar to Mythics. By the end of the week, you'll get a piece of loot that aligns with the rating that you achieved. You know, I think this is very interesting. I think this is a great system. It works for Mythics. People seem to like it for Mythics. Obviously, there's some RNG that you get from Mythics, but again, you can see at the top of the screen here, that you'll be receiving at least predictable loot. And then now, these weekly rewards can be collected from a chest in the Duelers Guild PvP hub in either Zolduar or Zoldazar or Belarus. I can't, I'm horrible at reading these PvE names. Now, who's the greatest is an interesting portion of the article, and they talked about this, and I might show the achievement somewhere here on the screen if I can, to help provide even more transparency. We're adding regional tracking so that once you've reached Gladiator, you'll be able to see where you rank in your region right within the interface. So going back to the real-time element of these changes, real time, you're going to see your ranking. Like, for example, right now for me, if I want to see like where I am on the ladder, or for example, if I want to go see, I wish they would do it for class as well. Like if you go to like Arena Mate, you can go to Demon Hunters, and I'll show it somewhere here on the screen. You can see that like by the time I'm making this video, I might be like number 12 or 13 or something on US and EU. For Demon Hunter, maybe NA, I'm like 10 or something. I don't know, doesn't matter. But the point of it is you can see where you rank directly inside of the game, and you'll be able to keep a close eye on how far you have to go to get there, or even brag to your friends about how far you've gone. That's perfect, right? I'm number 10 in the world. I'm number 12 in NA. I'm number 15 in NA. I would like to see a class version implemented as well. I think that'd be very interesting, but that might be too difficult to pull off. And I want to slow my roll and take what they give us. I'm very excited about these changes, like I said 12 times in this video. So I'm okay with them just incorporating where I rank within my own region as a player overall. Now we have the end of the season portion, which we did talk about in a previous video, and a lot of people are confused about this. We're still in the process of working out the possible end of season rewards, but they did disclose that they are going to be increasing the rewards and adding additional rewards. But for now, we can say that we'll be keeping these special seasonal Gladiator titles for the very top players at the end of the very season. Those who get the Gladiator title will need to win an additional number of games to earn the mount as the reward. Now, they did kind of not leak, but if you look somewhere on like Arena or like Wowhead and you type in the Gladiator for BFA achievement, it says win 50 games inside of the Gladiator bracket. So if you won 50 games above 2400, I'm assuming you're still going to be like 2600 rating, unless you're just breaking dead even, and that would just be an absolute grind. I mean, honestly, if you put that much time into it, it's okay to meet. If you get that title, if you get to 2400 and you win one, you lose one, you win one, you lose one, you grind those games out like over 100 to 120 games, and you still get your 50 wins. I mean, that's a lot of time spent. So be it. It's still not rank one. Rank one's still going to be percentage based, but as far as Gladiator goes, you'll have to win a certain number of games while inside of the Gladiator bracket. You do not receive the Gladiator mount just by entering the bracket. You have to complete an achievement while in there, and we have more in store for PvP beyond rated play, so be sure to check back here for more. So they're going to be updating this in the future. So overall, this is simply an update on what I had posted in the past. We just have more concrete images. They've better explained how the brackets are going to work. We've talked about the new ways to earn loot, right? You can get it through just filling out account wide for your mounts. If you want to get your 100 or 2v2 3v3 win mount, they've also just updated how the interface looks, which I think is great. You can see your ranking in game. You can see your seasonal reward right there. You can see the piece of loot that you're receiving at the top. So I like it overall. Very impressive stuff here by Blizzard. I think this is going to be a much better expansion for PvP, rated PvP. There's progression. There's predictable loot. There's just increased rewards, and now a lot of things are account wide, and it's the way that it should be. So good job, Blizzard. I'm very proud of you guys. Thank you for listening to the community, and I hope to see additional stuff along the way. But that's going to do it for this video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. If you have any more questions on any PvP updates that are coming to Battle for Azeroth, you can leave those in the comment section below. Be on the lookout for my Demon Hunter guide that I will be dropping, my advanced Demon Hunter guide that I will be dropping in the next couple of days or so. Try to miss me on my Twitch live stream where I answer all your guys' questions in depth. do not forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.